Hey, it's Johar. Welcome back to my channel. So I want to chat with y'all because I I don't remember what made me think of this because it's been a while since I even rewatched Charm, to be honest. But I was like I said, I don't remember how this came up. But I was talking to my mom about Charm and about their wardrobe because Piper dressed more or less the same, um, kind of, casual. She was the only one that never really dressed sexy. I mean, she had her moments where she dressed more, not even really sexy. The only time she dressed somewhat sexy would probably have been the one where she was possessed in Coyote Piper, which is an episode I'm not even too fond of. Um, but um, Phoebe, I know, is especially known for dressing sexy. And then Paige is become pretty known for dressing sexy, and so does Prue later on as well. Um, but if you watch season one, then why is it that Prue is wearing suits? And then all of a sudden, it's one thing to wear those clothes when you go clubbing, because they do go to a club a lot. At least in season two, they do. Not season one, because season two, Piper ends up owning a club. Um, but like you, when you go to work, you need to dress appropriately. And after season one, Prue stopped dressing appropriately for work. And I'm sorry, but that did feel out of character for her. Baby, I can get to a point. But even in season one, Baby wasn't dressing like that. She wore suits too. She wore casual too. And you're telling me after season one, they just started all being like, nah, let's just dress all like this even when we're going to work. I mean, Phoebe didn't really have a job, but she did go to school. But she still had, because she did end up going to school. Yeah, that would have been season two. She did end up going to school, back to school in season two. And you think she would have to dress somewhat appropriately for that too, by the way. But especially Prue, she works in an auction house, at least in seasons one and a good portion of season two. Maybe I don't think all of it, but at least most of it. Because by season three, she's a photographer. Because I do remember her quitting, and I'm pretty sure that was sometime in season two. But I do think she worked in the auction house most in Buckland's most of season two. Um, but there's one episode that I remember very well. Oh, I don't remember the episode per se very well, but I remember this scene very well, where it was after Jack was introduced. And I was thinking it was the very first time he was introduced, and he was wearing like he was in his boxers or something, and she made a comment about him not dressing appropriately, and he was like, when you dress like that, and because at the time she was wearing a shirt that had strings that went around her neck like this, and then strings that went around her middle like this to tie so that the shirt stays on her body for the most part, but her back was completely showing. And I'm like, I have no problem with dressing like that. Like, dress like that all you want. Like, more power to you. But when you're working, then yeah, you should dress appropriately. I'm sorry, but that is how I feel. And especially when you're working at a prestigious auction house where you deal with clients. And I'm sorry, most of those risky clients, in reality, if she were dressed like that, wouldn't want to work with her because they wouldn't take her seriously, if we're being honest. So her working with clients dressed like that didn't actually make sense. And it's just something that annoys me. And the only thing I can think of, no offense, because I know that there are guys out there that'll take offense to this, but the only thing I can think of that really changed, that could have changed, was men writers. Because going further before Charm was late 90s. In the 80s, there was a show called Facts of Life, a show that was before my time. Charm was even technically a little bit before my time, but like by a year, I think. A year before I was born. But 80s was definitely before my time. But I still like a lot of older shows that my mom grew up on, and I enjoyed Facts of Life. Um, and this one, there was a Facts of Life documentary or something where they were talking behind the scenes about how they got the show running and stuff, because some shows have documentaries like that. And in that, they actually say that, because in season one, they live in New York, by the way. The boarding school they're in for all girls is in New York, by the way. And they are always wearing short shorts, spaghetti straps, crop tops, stuff like that, which you probably shouldn't wear at a school anyways, by the way. But, and in season 2, when season 1 wasn't really working, they ended up changing a lot from season 1 and season 2, and which is good because season 2 was far better than season 1. And one thing they changed was adding female writers because they are working with a school for all girls, by the way. And the first thing these women said is, why in the heck are these girls wearing this when in New York in the dead of winter? It doesn't make sense. All y'all are doing are sexualizing these teen girls. They legit said that to these men. Because there's no other explanation for these teen girls to be wearing short shorts and spaghetti straps and crop tops in the dead of winter in New York. And they're at a boarding school, by the way. A ritzy boarding school wouldn't accept all that. They wouldn't. And yeah. And what changed was that they got women writers. So when they changed, because in season 1 there was a lot of girls. In season 2 they took most of those girls away. They kept Blair, Natalie, and Tootie, and then they added Joe to be a foil against Blair, the complete opposite. And it was mostly the 4 of them and Mrs. Garrett. And they also changed a lot with the fact that they changed their wardrobe. I mean, Blair was still very ritzy, so she wore ritzy clothes, but even when it was cold, she would wear really heavy clothes. I mean, it was very furry and very fancy and very expensive, but it was still decent. So yeah. I'm out of breath from this rant because it just really irritates me. So the only thing I can think of in Charm is that they actually, instead of doing fact selected and go from men writers to women writers, they went from women writers to men writers, and a lot of times men can outwrite women right. Because I'm sorry, not all guys, I know it's not all guys, because I know there are going to be men that say not all guys, and it's not all guys. But there is enough of them that do stuff like this. And a lot of guys, when they write women characters like this, they will write them wearing sexy clothes 24/7. Don't get me wrong, some women like that. And if you do, great, power to you. But there's still a time and place for everything, like work or school or in the winter. Well, in certain places in the winter, because in some places it doesn't get too cool where you really have to cover up all that much. But you know what I mean. And it just annoys me because it's like, why do y'all always try to sexualize women? Like, women can wear suits and they can look professional as much as they can look sexy. They can do both. So pick your time and place. Because it just really annoyed me when I realized that the wardrobe change in Charm just felt very sexist, and it put until women took over and was like, this isn't acceptable. And I wish somebody would have said that in Charm, because why is it that Prue was half dressed at an auction house, Phoebe was half dressed at school, and Paige was half dressed with half of her jobs? Or when you first meet her, she was a social worker. Excuse me, you can't dress like that as a social worker? So yeah, it something just frustrates me, and it's another form of sexism. So I just wanted to throw that out there for people. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment your thoughts, and I'll try to get cool in the comments. Until next time.